course. Oh. Okay. What, you guys are here for part 2? Alright, fine. I'll stop playing Fortnite. I'll give you guys part 2. Here we go. So as I mentioned in the first part, there was going to be a part 2. Here we are. This video is basically me doing a comparison of the Amotion Roam to the Subatom and how it compares to the Vyro One. And I'll briefly talk about these two in their own respect, how they perform, what to expect if you were to get one, and my personal opinion on which one I like from best to worse, or maybe not worse is probably a bad word, just my ranking 1, 2, and 3 in preference order. So in the first video, I pretty much did a whole rundown on the Amotion Roam, water level, how it purges, how it performs, things to consider when buying it. I'm not going to do exactly that with these two. I'm basically just going to talk about my experience with the Subatom, what I like about it, and how it compares, if it has any similarities or major differences to the Amotion Roam. And I'm going to do the same thing with the Vyro One. My experience, things to consider. And also the video is not really going to be about like which one is a better deal only in terms of price, you know, like based on accessories and things like that. It's mainly how it performs, what to expect, things to keep in mind, and just personal opinions that I like to share based on smoking from these things for a very long time. I've had the Subatom for about like almost 3 years now. This is the Vyro. This is a Vyro One, but it's a Novatech edition. It's basically the same thing. It's just different color, different design, but it performs exactly the same way. Alright, so let's get started. So first up, we're going to talk about the Vyro One and how it compares to the Amotion Roam. Now right off the bat, side by side, you could tell they're almost identical in height, maybe off by a few millimeters. They both weigh a good bit, you know. The Vyro One's weight is primarily at the bottom, and pretty much the same thing like the Amotion Roam, so that's the first similarity. Both their hose ports are at the bottom. The way that they designed it was they made the bottom heavy and the hose ports at the bottom, so you don't have to worry about, you know, the hose port being on top and then it like topples over. They keep all the weight at the bottom, so in case the hose gets pulled, it'll just move like this. The Amotion Roam, top is magnetic, pops right off. The Vyro One, it's not magnetic. You have to unscrew the bowl adapter in order to get to the inside. Takes off the lid, and that's how the inside looks. You could unscrew the outer sleeve, and this is what the inside looks like if you weren't familiar with it. So this is a unique design. The downstem is basically built in. The purge ball is within here, and this tube, column, valve, whatever, is pretty much where the smoke goes. So when you have the sleeve on, you want to fill the water level right above, see where my nail is? You want to get it as close as possible to the top of the diffuser hose. You don't want to put too much. Why? Because in my experience, and in many people's experience with the Vyro One, is having difficulty getting the correct water level because it's not forgiving, and chances are you will get water in your hose. However, if you get it right, you know, if you really pay attention and try to be as accurate as possible, you won't really have that issue. But in my opinion, the chances of it happening in this is a bit higher than it happening in this. From the first video, you saw how this thing purges. When it purges, it cascades down underneath the rim here. The way that this one purges, it's just a simple purge. When you purge, it just blows the smoke right out of here. This one, again, it's very sensitive, so you can't purge hard. Like, you have to purge softly, smoothly, easily, because if you blow too hard, you're gonna flood the bowl. Disaster. With this one, again, I would suggest you don't purge hard, because if you do, the same thing will happen. But you could get away purging a little bit harder versus the Vyro One. Again, that's just my experience with it. Either way, I don't even think you should be purging hard at all. my personal opinion. In terms of the draw, to me it lies somewhere like a few ticks above neutral. Like, it's not restricted, it's like, it's more so a normal draw in my opinion. But of course, you know, if you use a Lotus on the bowl, the draw will be a little bit more open. But if you're somebody like me who mainly smokes with a Provost and foil, you may experience like a normal neutral type draw. With this, it's a little more open than the Vyro one, but again, you could alter the way your draw is based on how many holes you poke if you're using foil, how big the holes are, and well, you can't really alter it with water level because these things, the water level needs to be exact. Another thing, cleaning this is a little bit more tedious than cleaning this, just because it has more parts on the inner mechanism. You know, you can screw everything out. Each of the 3 columns, they all come apart. You can take it out and clean it. Again, a little bit more tedious. This one is a little bit more simple. You just take it out, you just wash the inside. You could take this part apart and wash those as well. I think that this is easier to clean, especially on the outside. It's the, you know, the soft touch type silicone material. So it's easy to wipe off if you get any like dust or like smudges on it. This one, yeah, it's easy to clean, but since it has like a stainless steel top and like bottom, if you scratch it, you're going to see it and it's going to be noticeable. It's not as forgiving. Which of these two I would pick for travel? I would pick the Amotion Roam. I like how it performs, I like how it smokes. I've taken a Vyro One traveling as well. And, you know, it gets the job done. And what I like to tell people is that these pipes are not made to smoke like a normal size hookah, you know? Like, if it's made to be a travel pipe. So you are going to have drawbacks. You are going to have hiccups with water level and purging and things like that. But not everybody has the luxury to carry a giant hookah with them, whether it be mid-size, normal size. There are some sacrifices you technically have to make, but it gets the job done. Like, would I say no, don't ever get this? No. If you like how it performs and you like how it smokes, then great. It's small, it's easy to take with you anywhere you want to go. Same thing with this one, they're pretty much almost the same size. Like, one doesn't take up much more space than the other. Moving on to the Subatom. Now, I've had this for about, I would say, close to 3 years now. I really love this pipe. I feel that it's the perfect travel pipe, and it could be the perfect daily pipe as well. Why I say that is because this thing, like I literally just mentioned a few seconds ago, a travel pipe is meant to have some drawbacks and things like that. It's not supposed to operate like a big mid-size or full-size hookah. If you were blindfolded and you didn't know what this was and you went to smoke it, you would think that you're smoking from a bigger pipe. Now, that's just my opinion. I've heard other people's opinions and they say the same thing. There's only a handful of pipes on the market that actually wowed me as the first time I tried it. This was one of them. So as you can see, it's magnetic. It's similar to the Amotion Roam, however the magnet is much stronger. It's like it's not going anywhere if you like shake it, right? With the Amotion Roam, like if I pick it up and shake it a little bit, it'll come off like that. But this one, it's not going anywhere. There's 4 magnets on each of the corners, as you can see. And then, yeah. When it comes to this pipe and water level, I like to put the water... Let's get this camera to focus. Okay, there we go. I like to put the water level like right here, but never past this indent. You don't want to put it up here. If you put it right here, great. But if you put it right in the middle of the indent and the top diffuser hole, that's the sweet spot for me. I've never had an issue with water getting into the hose when doing that. Purging, again, I don't have an issue with that. I could purge this one the hardest of the 3. Not the hardest that I can, just the hardest of the 3 I could purge, and I won't really experience the bowl flooding or anything of the sort. When you purge, the smoke comes out of this opening, that opening, and this opening. So that's a 3-way purge. Hose port is on top. It's not the same as these where the hose is where the hose port is at the bottom. But again, it's sturdy. I've never had this like tip over. The hose port is magnetic. These are not magnetic. Their hose ports are O-rings, so you have to push it in. Now, what do all three of them have in common? There's no tray. It's not the end of the world. You could use a cold carrier if you're at home smoking, or you could get a cheap little small tray, put it right on top. It'll do the job. The Subatom is significantly lighter. Like, it still has, it's top heavy, but it's significantly lighter than these two. It's a pound lighter than the Vyro One, and it's a little over half a pound lighter than this one. This one is one of my all-time favorite hookahs, like in general, like not just as a travel pipe, just in general. Like, this is super reliable. It's easy to clean. You just take it off, fill it up with some OxyClean, let it soak, and then dump it out. Do not, I repeat, do not take a sponge or any type of abrasive cleaning product and clean this, because you will scratch the insides and it will look horrible. Mine has some scratches in it from doing so, but at this point I don't care. But if you buy a brand new one, don't do it. Just clean it with something very soft, like a microfiber cloth, or just let it soak with OxyClean and dump it out. So basically, just to wrap it up real quick, how I rank these three, as you guessed, number 1, number 2, number 3. All three of them are made with really good quality materials. They're all not the same, but essentially they all have the parts that matter, which is stainless steel. The only con that I have with the Hoob Subatom and most Hoob products, the hose port being magnetic, is rustable. It will rust on you at some point. I've had this for a very long time, and mine only slowly beginning to rust. But as long as you keep it clean and keep it dry after every use and just don't leave it sitting there, you could preserve that magnet for a very long time. Like I said, 3 years and it's barely beginning to rust. I'm happy with that. So to recap, number 1, not you. Number 2, number 3. So I hope this gave some sort of insight to how each of them compares to each other and which one you may purchase. You can't go wrong with them, but chances are this is the winner, and I will never lead you wrong. This is the one. Like, even if you wanted a regular hookah and not just a travel pipe, I could recommend this to you as well. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe below. If you have any follow-up questions, I know I didn't cover every single thing that there is to cover, but that's why I leave it up to you to bring it to my attention, and I'll give you the answer as fast as possible. So let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you disagree with something that I said. Let me know if you enjoyed what I said. Let me know if you are going to buy any one of these. Let me know if you have any questions regarding how one of these work. Anything. That is what I'm here for, people. To answer your questions, to provide information, to lead the community in the right way. So with that, take care. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.